Welcome to Why We're Fans. I'm Duran, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Gennaro.
In all of our episodes, we cover the past, present, and the future of all your favorite NFL football teams.
We love hearing your stories, talking the NFL draft, and reminiscing about the good old days.
If you like the same, be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this episode. And leave a comment below if you want to answer any of our questions.
Follow us on Twitter to stay up to date on our latest interviews. And like we always say, win or lose, we're all fans. Enjoy this episode.
And welcome back to another episode of Why We're Fans. It's your hosts, as always, Gennaro and Duran Munez right there. Duran, how's it going?
Good. We got a good team today in a hard division, but I think they're up for the challenge this year.
Yeah, that crack of the beer, man, that means it's going to be a good one, man. Cracking the beer early means it's going to be a good episode because, like you said, the division is getting stacked, and it's looking like the AFC best right now. We'll see. You can't win a Super Bowl in March, but we'll see how it goes. But oh my God, that's good beer too. All right. With that being said,
damn, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. That sounded good, dude.
All right, you heard our man down there. We got the president of the Die Hard Bolt Club. Did I say that right?
Correct.
The Die Hard Bolt Club, the El Presidente, Enrique Caraco. How you doing, man?
How's it going, man? I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys for actually reaching out, and it's pretty cool to interact with other fans that are from different teams. I mean, if I'm not wrong, you're a Cowboy fan, yeah?
Cowboys and Niners. Yep.
Duran is. I'm a 49er fan. Duran right there. He's a Cowboys fan. So
got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Honestly,
so
funny up, story. I was a Niner fan when I was fucking 8 years old, I think. I was a Niner fan because of Terrell. Like, I was in Pop Warner, and I think my number was like 81, and Terrell Owens and like Jeff Garcia. I was like, dude, Garcia. One of my last names is Garcia, so it's like Caranco Garcia. So that I was like, oh, I'm a Niner fan when I was like 8 years old. So yeah, honestly, they'll always kind of hold a little special spot in my heart.
Yeah, that was actually kind of like me. I wasn't a fan of the team, but I was a fan of Tony Gonzalez because Gonzalez was my mother's maiden name, and I have a cousin named Tony. So I was like, oh man, that's our cousin? That's our cousin. I don't care about our other cousin. That's our cousin. So, I always had and he was
especially when not having many Hispanic last names.
Yeah, and he was 88 too, and he played for the Cal Bears. So 88 was my birth year, so I was excited for him, and I always, wherever he went, I cheered for him. Even when he played against us when he was at ATL, oh man, he was still a beast. That guy was a monster.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, he really was.
Yeah, Jesus. But your team, the Chargers, oh my God, they're making so many moves. Tom Telesco is definitely breaking out the checkbook. I'm not too sure if they're still selling the team or not, but they're breaking out that checkbook. They're bringing in guys, trading for guys, retaining guys, which is always good to see. But and man, I'm not too sure. I was trying to think of any holes that you guys still had. There's not much, but there's definitely some work to be done.
We got a couple.
Yeah,
we definitely got a couple. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, having Telesco finally break out the checkbook was good to see. I've been one of his main critics for years on Twitter, and most of my Charger fans, people that I interact with on Twitter, they used to give me a lot of shit for it, and they'd be like, man, they would come at me for like hating on Telesco. I'm like, dude, honestly, I'm not hating on the guy, but like, come on, man, like we're fucking next step. Like we're okay with just being like okay. Kind of cruising through the fucking AFC West. We're going against Patrick Mahomes. And I was definitely very frustrated this past season when we saw the Chiefs could bleed, I guess you would say, the fact that they're like, hey, dude, we got them. Going into December, we had an opportunity to win the AFC West. And it's like, we know what our holes are. Why are we not doing anything at the trade deadline? You know what I mean? So I was pissed. I was, dude, this was our year, whatever. I'm really happy to see that this year he shut me up, and that's all I ever really wanted. I'm like, dude, I'm not hating on the guy. I just want him to shut me up, like do what, exciting stuff. We're in LA. We just moved to LA. We still got a lot of issues with the ex-San Diego fans that come out of LA people, like people that still support the Chargers. Like, let's show them. Like, show them that we got this. We got Herbert, arguably one of the best QBs, up and coming QBs.
Yeah.
We have him in a rookie deal. Let's take advantage of that. So the fact that he finally went out there and did something about it. I mean, when he traded for Khalil Mack, dude, I had to recheck my phone like 2-3 times. Like, is this for real? Like, I had to look for the check mark at the end of the name of Adam Schefter. Like,
Oh, there you go.
oh shit, it really did happen. Like, you know what I mean? Because we never make trades. He holds on to those draft picks like they're gold. So that was my biggest issue with him all the time. I'm like, dude, look at the Rams. They don't give a shit about the draft. They haven't had a first round pick in a couple of years. They don't care. Still a winning team. They're still making, I'm not saying that's the best way to go about it, but I was always kind of annoyed that he wouldn't do those trades. So when Khalil Mack came, I lost it, dude. I was like, well, shit, he shut me up. And it's funny because I made a bet before free agency with a couple people on Twitter, a couple other guys from the podcast, like Charger Podcast and whatnot. I told them, like, hey, man, if Telesco does some moves, I'll get a Telesco tattoo, which ends up being like this. He has a surfboard, a Lucky Charger surfboard that he uses on draft day. So I told him I will tattoo the surfboard with his initials on it if he does get on free agency. And hey, man, he shut me up, and now I got to put money where my mouth is, and I got to go get that tattoo then. So
hell yeah, I like that. I like that little.
So that was funny.
Yeah, that's commitment right here. That's
it was well deserved for all the shit talking I did about him. Oh, I did a lot of shit talking about the guy that he finally shut me up. Yeah. I was like, you know what, dude? All right, you got it.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right, Dwayne, you ready to get into it, or you got any questions?
Man. No, let's dig in. Let's figure out how it all started, how he made the switch.
Yeah. So Enrique, we want to know how it first started. You mentioned that you're part of the faithful for a little bit, and got to say thank you for your time. But how did it all start? How did
as a kid, dude, it was honestly as a kid in middle school, it was all like a bunch of different, like my whole family are all Cowboy fans or Raider fans, all of them. Like I said, going into Pop Warner and stuff, it was just more, Jeff Garcia and the 81, Terrell Owens, and I like them, and that's who, like, my mom bought like a poster and a jersey. Then I got really into Michael Vick. Like, dude, I think I'm pretty sure everybody was like wanting to be Michael Vick when they were younger. So that was me. I was like, I remember going to Vegas and buying the Michael Vick shoes at the Nike store. And I was so excited. They were like my Christmas present. Then, my whole life I grew up with pit bulls. I've only had pit bulls. So the moment he got caught with fighting the pit bulls, I said, man, fuck this guy. Like, I was like, well, now I need to find a team. Like, because I was more of a players type of kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was a little kid just loving the players. So I was never really about a football team. And like I said, my dad was a Cowboys fan. And so I never really would say I was really into football teams until I went to a Chargers game with my dad and my cousin down in San Diego. And my dad, he played college ball and he was 21. So I don't know, he kind of really fell in love with Thomas because he was a running back in college. Mm-hmm. So he kind of fell in love with Thomas, and then so did I. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm looking for a team. They're right here. I think I was like 11, 12 at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, I'm looking for a team. They're local. LT wears 21. My dad wore 21. Like, fuck it. This is it. And then ever since then, bro, it's been like an obsession, honestly. I got Chargers tattoo. Everything at my house is Chargers, basically. My dog is named Charger. Shit. I don't know. My kids, dude, my son, every time he sees some Charger is he thinks football is called Chargers because he's like 2. Because everything it has to do with Chargers.
I thought you were gonna say your son's name was LaDainian. I was gonna say, oh, dang, that's commitment.
Hey, maybe my the next one coming up could be like Kenyan or something. I don't know. Nah, but still. Yeah. So everything has just been like Charger related, dude. And when I joined the club, that's really when it kind of became more into an obsession, I guess you'd say. Um, because it is now my free time. Like, I work so much that basically I stopped kind of going out and whatnot, that Sundays were like my only free time to like de-stress from work and
Yeah.
family and life. It's just like tailgate and football, and so that's honestly, I think since it was 2006 when I became a fan. So it's been, shoot, terrible at math, but we're getting there. On the 20 years, we're getting there. So we're pushing, but
16.
yeah, it's definitely been a good amount of time that I've been Chargers and all about the Chargers.
Are
I
you
know we're not the biggest fan base. Yeah, I'm a season ticket holder. Yeah.
nice?
Um,
What are the
I'm
perks?
fifth row end zone.
Ooh.
Dude, there's some really good perks just from my seats alone. I was
Yeah.
lucky enough to get them back in 2018, like in the pre-sale. So I got like a really good deal on my like seat license and all that. Right underneath me at SoFi, we have like a bar section just for our section, so
That's dope.
I'm very blessed with the seats that I have, thankfully.
No
But
long
yeah,
lines.
there's a lot of perks. Nah, not at all. Thankfully, we have like, I think downstairs in that bar, like 3 different areas where you can buy beer. So definitely a plus there on that. And there's perks that, they do a lot of special events for us, season ticket holders. I think there's a lot more perks being part of the club.
Mhm.
I've gotten to bowl with Joey Bosa, being part of the club. We used to hang out a lot with like Isaac Rochelle. The Chargers work very closely with us. They know who we are. They do a lot of special stuff for us. They, that I think the most perks I get is honestly from the club than season ticket, but it goes hand in hand, I believe. You know what I mean? Because a lot of stuff I feel like last year, the Chargers interviewed me and took me into like the suites and stuff, and they let me stay there for the whole game. I got to hang out with Antonio Gates. That type of stuff I feel like I wouldn't have gotten if I was in a season ticket holder, but also part of the club. So, it goes hand in hand. 2 years ago, 2 years before COVID, the last year at the Step Up, before we moved to SoFi, they chose me for like a Hispanic heritage
Mhm.
appreciation. So they paid for my wife and myself to go to the Mexico game,
Oh, nice.
hotel, flights, tickets, and then they paid for the tickets of my 4 family members in Mexico. So
Wow.
4 of my uncles that live in Mexico City were all able to go to the Charger game, and we all got like custom Charger jerseys that say Caranco on the back. So, like I said, it goes hand in hand. That came thanks to the club, but
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
thanks to being season ticket.
Nice.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
that's honestly something I love about the Chargers, man, that they work so great with the little fans that we have. But honestly, I think we're growing like crazy because everywhere I drive now, I start seeing bolts on people's trucks, and
Mhm.
at the mall, I've started seeing hats now. I think Justin Herbert effect is definitely taking on now. So
Hell
we're
yeah.
getting there.
Love it. Love it.
What was your first jersey? Did you ever get that LT jersey? Antonio Gates,
Yeah, I
Merriman,
actually have.
anyone?
My first jersey was Tomlinson. I have it
Yes.
actually still at the house. I have a frame. There was that back when it was like Reebok and it was like, the whole
Mhm.
jerseys and it
Yeah.
was like printed on. That was the one. Yeah, that's the one I have. It was that was my first jersey for sure.
LT,
I'm
man.
never letting go of that one.
Yeah.
LT, he was such a cheat code. It was always so weird to see him play with the New York Jets. It just never
Seriously.
really sat right with me, just because like yourself, I always was a diehard Niner fan, but you always, when you play fantasy, you always have like those. Yeah, you always have like, okay, I want to watch this player because he's my favorite player. And LT, I think, was everybody's favorite player. And yeah, man, he was something special to watch. I feel like he always brought that swagger. I feel like I didn't see a whole bunch of running backs with like the double T's and then the bull ring until him. You know what I mean? Like I saw
The
fullbacks with
visor. The
Yeah.
visor.
I felt like Edgerrin James brought the visor in. You know what I mean? I feel like he brought that visor, that Miami swag.
Usually we like to, our next section, we like to guess your favorite player, but I think the cat's out of the bag. Is it LT?
Dustin
current
Hopkins.
or
All time.
are we talking all time? Yeah, not for sure. LT.
LT.
All time LT. For sure.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players too, just from watching him. A guy, especially that's not on my team. I mean, as G said, fantasy football and everything just makes you fall in love with LaDainian Tom. All the touchdowns. I think he has a single season record for most touchdowns.
And
for
I think
running
that's
backs.
why that's why I also appreciate other teams so much, because I do play fantasy football. I guess as much as I'm a diehard Charger fan, I'm also a fan of football. So
Yeah.
you know, you get to love other players. I remember, I think at the StubHub, we had Aaron Rodgers, the Packers come, and I could have sold my tickets and made my money back and then some, just in one game for the season. And I was like, no, it's Phillip Rivers against Rodgers. No, I'm watching that. You know what I mean? Because I am a football fan. I do play fantasy, you know, so I definitely do appreciate the fact that both of you guys are bringing that up and saying, like, you know, you're still a fan of Tomlinson because of fantasy and because you appreciate the sport of football.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. As part of fantasy, like, are you like biased? Do you pick more Chargers? And another a follow-up question to that.
That's my downfall.
Yo, is it? Oh man.
Play with your heart.
Follow-up question to that is, like, do you find yourself not choosing other AFC West players?
Yeah, that's my downfall, honestly. Like last year, I think I won my league. And I think every week we were giving out money for like most points.
Yeah.
And it was when the Chargers did good, I won the most points because it was Herbert, Mike Will, and Keenan Allen that I had on my team. So whenever you know, we had a good week, all three of them went off, and I'm like, I would get the most points. And but another league, I didn't have all three of them together, so it kind of was my I think that's my downfall sometimes, that I pick with my heart sometimes, and I'm like, nah, there's no way I'm picking. And I go now, playing is my downfall, but I need to start being more. I mean, I've won every year, thankfully, because I'm in like 4 different leagues. Every year I've won at least one, but I definitely need to stop, because I always feel like I know some insider shit that people don't, because they don't follow the Chargers. And I'm over here like, oh yeah, I know Josh Palmer's gonna go off because he did great in training camp. Dude didn't even barely play, you know. So I did stop that.
It's like, watch out for Gayton, man. He might have a game. You know what I mean?
I know you mentioned. I know you mentioned Michael Vick earlier as being another one of your favorite players when you were younger. Do you know the LaDainian Tomlinson and Michael Vick connection? The Chargers had the number 1 pick, and then they traded it to the Falcons, who ended up getting Michael Vick, and then the Chargers. So 2 of your favorite players came in the league the same year, pretty much because of the Chargers.
Yeah, no, I heard that a couple of times, actually. I think I was too young at the time to watch the draft itself.
Yeah.
But I definitely have heard of that connection.
There you go. Is there a player that you feel like is a little bit underrated that deserves more shine that's on the Chargers?
And why is it Chase Daniel?
Keenan.
Keenan Allen? Really?
And I love Keenan.
I think Keenan Allen, I think he gets underrated a lot. I mean, what's his name? Nick Wright. Nick Wright went on the TV like a couple of days ago when Keenan like posted like, oh, a lot of people are gonna get exposed. And Nick Wright goes like, he's like the 14th receiver in the league. I'm like, dude, seriously? I wouldn't say he's the best receiver in the league, but 14?
Yeah, he's 14, way higher than 14. Right.
Yeah. So that's why I say Keenan. Other than that, I feel like a lot of people do get the respect. You know, Justin definitely, I think he gets the respect he deserves. Derwin, you know, everybody knows he's one of the best safeties in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, you can't really argue that he's, you know, I don't think any of the players that we have, I'm also going to be realistic. I'm not going to say they're top, like number 1. I don't think. I still think Herbert has a little bit to grow. You know, I would put Josh Allen above Herbert. I would still put Mahomes above Herbert. So I'm not biased in saying like, oh, these guys are the best and they deserve all the respect. But I definitely do think the one person that gets underrated is Keenan, just on the fact that I think, maybe because he's on the Chargers, that he's not getting the attention he should be getting with how good of a route runner he is.
Mm-hmm.
I think a couple of years ago he was getting the respect, but I think recently they started putting him like not even in the top 5 of best route runners, and I'm like, what? So I think I saw a list where it was like Devontae, which I'll give him that, Devontae number 1, and I think it was like Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, and like a couple other 2, and then finally Keenan. I was like, no way. But that's just, I mean, I could be biased on it, but I do think he's the one that gets underrated the most.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I felt like maybe like some nagging injuries might get to it because I don't think he played a full season recently, I should say, like the past few years. I feel like he hasn't played all the 16 games, 17 now. But yeah, I love Keenan. I agree with you on that. I was rooting for him to stay in the Bay when he was coming out of college. I know he tore his ACL late in his college year, and that's why he led him to a 3rd round draft pick. But I followed him a lot, and he's a beast. I like him. Again, bringing up fantasy, I always pick him on my fantasy team. Last year, so I had to keep on sending trade offers. I know sometimes they were bad, but yeah, I wanted my guy on my team, and I agree with you. He is definitely underrated when it comes to route running. I think that he has great routes. When I think it was the Hard Knocks back when Anthony Lynn was the head coach, him and I think Chris Harris, were going against each other. And I love.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
I love that they're attacking each other, kept on attacking. I loved it a lot.
One guy I wanted to bring up that, he was a longtime Charger and actually just won the Super Bowls, Eric Weddle. Do you think he deserves a little bit more credit? I mean, 5-time Pro Bowler or 6-time Pro Bowler. LT had 5 Pro Bowls. I mean, I think he's up there, especially now with the Super Bowl.
I think Eric Weddle just gives a little sour taste in Charger fans' mouth nowadays. Yep. Just with how he acted when he left. Like, trust me, I love Eric Weddle mainly because he's from my area. Because I'm from Rancho Cucamonga, California. Mm-hmm. He went to our rival high school. So Eric Weddle was always like someone I liked and loved that he was part of the team. Hated when he left, but I even hated more how he left because he was on Twitter bashing Charger fans. He was like telling people they need to switch to the Ravens, like fuck the Chargers, all that type of stuff. And to me, that wasn't the classiest way to go. And then also, as everybody saw, he wins the Super Bowl. First thing he does is go and bash the Chargers. And it's like, okay, come on, dude. Like, let it go. Yeah. So that's why there is sour taste, but I'm also not going to say that the guy doesn't deserve everything he got because he was a baller, dude. That guy's a baller. The fact that he came out of retirement and went straight and made an impact on the team that won the Super Bowl is amazing. Good for him. Like, I'll give him the respect. Yeah, he's definitely up there. I think he's one of the best safeties that I ever play. Not definitely top, but he's up there.
Yeah,
he's up there for sure.
I got a guy.
I mean, at one point the Chargers made up the highest paid player, highest paid safety, I think. So
I got a guy.
Deserves it.
You may be a little bit young. I don't know if you remember him quite, but a guy that I felt like that was an unsung hero, like Duran was saying, who was underrated, unsung hero. His best years probably came after the Chargers, but remember the running back Michael Turner?
Michael the Burner Turner.
I do.
Yeah, Michael Turner and Tolbert. I felt like they were both just
dude. That was a 3-headed monster right there. It was Tomlinson, Tolbert, Turner. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I love watching him play.
I think.
Go ahead.
Oh no, you're right. I was confused. I think I'm confusing him with Tolbert. It was like
no, I think they were all there at the same time, weren't they?
Were they? That might be
Tolbert was more of a fullback type of guy.
Yeah, I think that was our best backfield. We had like Sproles, LT, and Tolbert.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Sproles.
So I might be confusing Turner, so that's my bad.
Yeah, he was another guy that I liked as well. Sproles, he was only 5'6", but he had thighs, super super wide. Same with Turner. Turner, I mean, obviously Turner was such a different type of cat, different type of runner, but man, he ran physically, and like you said, Duran, the burner Turner, he had scoots, he had some wheels to him as well, being so big, but his thighs remind me of like Earl Campbell's thighs for how big they were. But man, he got moving. Like they say, like, oh man, like you want to have bigger strides, but man, the force that he put into the ground to accelerate was awesome. Was something great to see. I loved it. I loved watching him play. He ran so hard, and man, it was cool seeing him in ATL, but it sucked playing against him being in the NFC.
Of course.
For sure.
Next, we want to know your favorite Chargers coach. I mean, it could be any guys from the past, or it could be even up to Staley today, if that's a guy you're all in on.
Honestly, Staley. That guy, just hearing him talk football.
Mhm.
I mean, I played football up until like varsity in high school. I thought I knew football, but you hear this guy talking, you're like, holy shit, dude. Like, I clearly didn't know anything about football. Like, he starts talking to you in like language that, like, in the second level, third level, this, that. You're like, dude, I never, most coaches don't talk like that when they're talking in the public. Like, he speaks with so much passion, and you just want to follow him wherever the hell he goes.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, he still has to prove himself. So I don't want to jump the gun, but definitely love him as a person. I think it's definitely won me over.
Yeah, definitely hearing his interviews on the Pat McAfee show. He's been on there a couple times, I believe. He always gets labeled as this defensive, genius and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, you would get labeled that working underneath Vic Fangio, who is a great defensive minded coach. But he was a quarterback at Dayton, I believe. And, having that smarts, like he still has that quarterback type of feel to him. Being that he's so, I mean, I understand the head coach has to be so, connected to the quarterback. But like, if you look at guys like, say, Dan Campbell, you don't see him hand in hand with, Jared Goff. Tomlin, he loved Big Ben, but he was more like, I don't know. I feel like he was by like skilled player guys. And seeing Brandon Staley so close with Justin Herbert and, along with everybody else is definitely a good sight to see. And I think he was only a defensive coordinator, 1 year with the Rams, and then
1 year.
and you guys brought him over. Definitely young talent for sure. And that was only his first season last year, right? And
yeah,
he's definitely got a bright future, and especially
you definitely saw the change of the culture.
Yeah. I'm excited for I'm excited to see, the LA Chargers grow. I almost called them San Diego. I'm excited to see them grow for sure. It's going to be, it's some exciting football going down there in LA, and it's not just with the Rams. Like I said earlier, you can't win the Super Bowl in March, but you guys are definitely making a spark, and it's something good to see.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting for us fans, to tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Let's move on. One more. We want to know your favorite memory of all time being a Chargers fan. It could be a playoff game, a comeback, I don't know, a draft class, signing a player.
Dude, it's hard to pick, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs win. When we beat the Chiefs a couple years ago to make it into the playoffs.
Okay.
And Mike Will like caught that 2-point conversion to win the game instead of going into overtime. I think it is just more of a memory for me because people I was with, like, that was the first day I joined the club. I was high-fiving everybody. There was, I remember this one guy coming up to me, high-fiving me, crying, and I'm like, fuck, dude, this is awesome. So, I think that one, I'd have to pick that one.
Were you at that game?
There's definitely a lot of other ones. Like, no, it was at a watch party, and I think it was just like the impact of the people that I was with and seeing the passion and all that made such an impact. It's my greatest memory because obviously, I have so many good memories going with my dad. First time I took my son, all that. But I think that one made the most impact into why I decided to go even deeper.
Oh yeah.
So I'd probably have to say that one.
I like that. I like that answer a lot, just because like the people you're around made the moment that much better. And of course, making the playoffs is always such a great feeling. Being around the people that, you know, you love, you care about, you know, your fan club. I don't belong to a fan club, 49er fan club. Duran, I'm pretty sure you don't either. But being around all that and being in that environment just makes things a lot better. I know that if I'm watching a game with, you know, say my best friend Vic, being around him, feeling his energy, our energy feeds off each other. So I know being around that environment, like you were saying, although you weren't at a game, it felt like you were. Am I correct in saying that?
For sure. No, yeah, for sure. For sure. It was I mean, cliche as it sounds, it was electric. That shit was cool.
I like that.
It made me so it made me, I don't know, the addiction started, I guess, then that day. That was it.
And it's always good beating a division rival, especially when it's the Chiefs.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. I think that was also the biggest thing why everybody reacted the way they did, because like the Chiefs have always had our number for a while since Patrick Mahomes. I think even before Patrick, like when Alex Smith, like ever since Andy Reid came in, like, they've had our number. So just to like finally get them on a meaningful win like that, it was like that was what got us.
Yeah. Well, with all the good memories comes the bad. Do you have a worse memory being a Chargers fan? Got a couple playoff losses in there, maybe.
I think I want to say the most recent one for me, which was the Raider loss this year. That was because, you know, me and my wife were there. Just like the high of like made every fourth down, got a touchdown to go into overtime.
Yeah.
So like the high, I remember like yelling to like Raider fans, like what the fuck now? Like, you know, I was so drunk that I was like yelling, like, I want all the fucking smoke. Like I was just yelling, dude. I was so high. Like I was riding in such a high to like lose. Like just the drop was so bad. Yeah. Like I remember I was just like sitting there, like I was sitting in a slot machine in Vegas. My wife's sitting next to me. She's like super bummed out with a Fat Tuesday. I'm sitting there just like bought a little bottle from like the gift shop right there at the hotel and just pouring it into my soda, like just drinking my life away right there at a slot machine. Like yeah. I was like, I felt like, dude, this is rock bottom for me right now. Yeah, so I think that was definitely my worst memory.
It's the opposite of your favorite memory. It's the last game of the season.
Yeah.
You get into the playoffs versus a division rival. And instead of going for 2 and getting the win, you guys end up losing right at the end in overtime.
So that was definitely, it was definitely, I think I want to say that's the toughest memory just because it was so recent.
Yeah.
And like I said, it went from being like such a high from like, dude, like the odds were completely against us. We had every fourth down, Justin Herbert made it happen.
Yeah.
Then, you know, Mike Will scores. And it was like, whoosh, you know, the high that I felt right there was like, you know, to just straight down. That's why it's such like, I would say that's my worst memory.
Which one was more of a punch to the gut? Derwin James, of course, when he had his season-ending injury, or Keenan Allen when he tore his ACL that week 1. Both of those guys, I just feel like have so much potential, and I was hyped to watch, especially Derwin that year, and once again got hurt.
I want to say Derwin because at the time, I could be wrong. I don't remember. Keenan, I don't think was as important at the time when that happened. That when Derwin season-ending injury happened, it was like, dude, the guy was. Everybody had so much high expectations for him. And I think that Derwin. I mean, definitely now I could probably answer that differently if it happened. I think at the time it was Derwin.
Yeah, I feel you. I just feel like he was already coming off of an injury, and wasn't it like training camp?
Yeah.
He got hurt again, and then it was just like, oh shit, this guy. I mean, he was up for Defensive Player of the Year his rookie year, and it's just so much hype and so much anticipation. Yeah, that once again he got hurt, but hopefully he could string together some multiple 15, 16 game or 17 now, 17 game seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's man, it hurts my heart, you know, because I remember in that draft year, I wanted Derwin James, and we got McGlinchey. I wanted Derwin James really bad. Duran, you can vouch for that. I was watching Derwin James bad when he was at Florida State, and yeah, I always root for the kid. Yeah, when he went down, you know, it definitely broke my heart. But you know, I was gonna root for him. Yeah, like you said earlier. Yeah, I do believe that he's not necessarily the top guy at safety, but he's top tier. I believe he's
Yeah, no, for sure.
I also think he's
For
one of
sure.
the best coverage safeties in the league too.
100%. And I know,
Yeah.
like, whenever we I can argue about a guy just because he may look good. You know, I haven't necessarily broke him down. And then here comes Duran. Well, when coverage, it's A, B, and C, this and that. And that's what I love. You know what I mean? That's like, okay, good. You know, I may be right on this or I may be wrong. And here's why. And I get to, you know, kind of rebuttal to that. So, yeah, he is good in coverage. You absolutely are correct about that. I'm not going to argue against that.
Oh yeah. Well, let's move on to some brighter days. We want to know what your future expectations for the Chargers are.
Well,
go ahead, G.
Yeah. I'm just curious. I know we didn't necessarily ask this beforehand, but okay, me and Duran, we're from Sonoma County. We're from Northern California. If we were to come down there and we wanted to either tailgate or like watch it at a bar somewhere, where can we get hooked up? Where's the best spot to go?
Honestly, I was gonna invite you guys. This is right as we were getting to wrap up. To come out as soon as whenever you come out here, dude. You guys, I'm gonna take full care of you with the fan club.
Oh, yeah.
We have this badass tailgate at SoFi, and I'll make sure you guys are well taken care of.
Hell yeah!
And so I really look forward to you guys coming out here. Just you guys have my phone number now. Reach out to me, and I'll make sure you guys get taken care of 100%.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Yeah, we love it. So these are into our next section, our last section, real quick. We just want to, we're on the future expectations. You guys brought in a bunch of moving pieces. J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack. Sorry, you brought in Khalil. You brought in Duran. Help me out here.
Pull it up. J.C. Jackson, Sebastian Joseph Day, Austin Johnson, Khalil Mack, Gerald Everett.
Josh, and is there anyone that you are most excited about, and what position would you guys like to draft?
Dude, I'm most excited about Khalil Mack, just because I think that's going to open up everything else for everyone else. That's going to help out Joey open up. He was getting a double team, triple team. That's going to help the secondary, which also brings in the greatest addition to, I guess you would say. I think they're both like up there. J.C. Jackson coming in, helping just Derwin and him back there. I mean, the only thing I've been kind of wishing for, which I know is not going to happen, is if we got Tyrann Mathieu. Like, dude, imagine Tyrann Mathieu, Derwin James, and J.C. Jackson. That's ridiculous.
Jesus, yeah.
But I think I would really like for us to get a speedy receiver. I know the holes that we have left would be right tackle, like the whole right side of the line, I guess you would say. I mean, if you watch the Raider game, dude, our whole right side was just like Max Crosby was having a field day with our whole right side of the line. So
hard to hold that guy down, though.
Yeah. So I'm kind of, I know we have some holes, but at 17, I don't believe there's going to be good prospects from the tackle position. Defense tackle, I think we could definitely go Jordan Davis, but I don't see him dropping to 17 anymore. I know at first a lot of people were talking about, like, how could Jordan Davis, a defensive tackle, go so high? That's not a value position to be drafting that high in the first round. But now after seeing his combine or whatever, I'm pretty sure he might be going higher. So I don't know if he'll be there. But I would really like one of those Ohio State guys, either Williams or Olave. I think I would be a happy camper if we get either one.
Yeah, if you guys got Jordan Davis, I think you guys are in the running for one of the best defensive lines out there, along with us 49ers and the Washington Commies. If
I like that.
It's gonna be it's a tough one. I remember my brother-in-law, he's a Raider fan. Shout out to Kyle. He's like, man, all they're missing though is that we can run it in the middle because they're missing, defensive line or, nose tackles. Like, yeah, if they get Jordan Davis, though, or even if they get the dude from Alabama, it's number 48, big 48, look out for him. He's a beast. So, I mean, you guys just need to fill that real quick. And I think you guys' defensive line will be solidified.
Yeah, honestly, I think Jordan Davis will definitely solidify the whole defense, I think, for sure.
So,
but I think I'm just more of that sexy pick, like, the wide receiver.
Of course.
No, I feel it. I feel it. Nobody likes, the go in the trenches. The trenches are dirty and whatnot. I get it, man. Like, no one likes that sexy pick, getting like a Quentin Nelson and whatnot until they perform like a Quentin Nelson. So, but with the Broncos grabbing, Russell Wilson, the Raiders grabbing Derek Carr's, ex-roommate and Devontae Adams, and honestly, with the Chiefs letting go of Hill, which team scares you the most, and where do you think you guys finish in the division next year or this year?
Honestly, it's tough to say which one scares me the most. The Raiders don't really scare me because of Derek Carr. Yeah, he might have Devontae Adams, but it's still Derek Carr, in my opinion. So I wouldn't say the Raiders. The Chiefs is still got Patrick Mahomes, is still Andy Reid, so they are still scary. Even though they don't have Tyreek, I think they still can figure it out. But the Broncos, I think they've always scared me, honestly, because they beat us the past couple of years when it's like, dude, we could clearly beat them. We should have beat them. We had a better team than them, but they still beat us the past couple of years. So now that they have Russell Wilson, I would say the Broncos scare me the most.
Yeah, they got the corniest quarterback, man. I'm glad he's out of our division though, so that's all good.
Yeah, for sure.
It went from Go Hawks to Let's Ride, and I'm good with that, man. Duran, you got anything else?
No, man, that's it for me. Last question that I had was about the division. You covered it.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Honestly, man, I know you're hardworking. I know you're handling concrete. I'm in the electrical field. Duran's in the fire sprinkler field. So we understand how hard and much of a grind it is. So honestly, respect you and your work. I've seen your work as well. It's awesome, man. I love it.
Thank you, man.
But no, thank you for coming on our show. We appreciate it. Again, if you can shout out yourself real quick, where everybody can find you and your club, just have at it, hype yourself up real quick before you go.
Yeah, no, for sure. Before I go, I want to thank you guys for inviting me on. Sorry it took so long,
No
like
worries.
I told you, it was hard for me to follow up on the DMs and stuff from the club stuff.
You're about to have another kid, man. No worries, man. It's all good.
So I'm glad we finally got to do this. I really enjoyed talking football with you guys. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. So definitely, if you guys ever want to talk again, let me know. And like I said, if you're ever in Southern California, you want to watch a football game at SoFi, give me a phone call, give me a text, and I'll make sure to take care of you guys. But so my name's Enrique. My name on Twitter is Rique, and my club is Die Hard Boat Club. So either DHPC or Die Hard Boat Club, but we're on Twitter as Die Hard Boat Club. So you can find us on there, Instagram, and Facebook.
Oh yeah. We'll put all the information below as well. If you're not already, you better follow this man because it's awesome to see.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, guys.